I've decided to write this intro the evening before the finale comes out, because I want to start off on a positive note, before likely being animalistic with rage about what's to come tomorrow. Usually it's not a good sign when the showrunner starts fighting with the fans, instead of advising them just to be patient and reassuring them that the end will be worth the wait. Despite this, I remain a heavily invested fanboy, so I'm at least going to go in with excitement, if not high expectations. Insert a clip here that either validates my concerns or proves me wrong. Oh my god. Man, what do you think? Are you happy?
Yeah, I mean, this.
Well, that was sure a telling clip, and I think it's time we crack on with this last ever recap of The Boys.
Scorched earth.
Homelander is landing in his home of superfans / shareholders, but there's trouble brewing backstage with a whole bunch of firecrackers, but no one's noticed the imposter, Starlight. Their biggest op with a very recognisable face somehow slipped past their security. Luckily Black Noir noticed, and the two begin scrapping, but he's not able to stop the uplink in time as they leak the Flight 37 disaster footage.
You stay the back or I'll laser you, goddammit! I'll laser every one of you!
Right away, Homelander's crew get to spreading the word that the video is AI propaganda made as an attack by the Starlighters, shortly followed by a fake TikTok where they've made a fun remix of his chilling speech to downplay the severity of it and make it into a joke.
Stay back or I'll laser every one of you!
Ashley's now the vice president, and that's cool and everything, but was kinda hoping we'd see what happened immediately after her last scene, where her brain is convulsing as she's turning into a soup. I want to see her reaction to that. I want to see Homelander's reaction to that. We shouldn't really be skipping past it, but here we are. She too is running defence for Homelander, and denying the existence of camps, where rebellious Starlighters are absolutely not being held captive. Interestingly, the show's mentioning the characters and events of Gen V.
You're not distracted at all after Thomas Godolkin dumped you?
Which is a necessary move, considering what happened and who we meet in that spin-off. But I am wondering, again before having seen the finale, how they're going to intertwine these stories without confusing the people who didn't check out Gen V, which is a considerable chunk of the fanbase. By the way, I have made a recap on Gen V, so if you want to go check out that before continuing, it might help you when watching Season 5, so long as you do promise to come back here. Anyway, we get some highly memed dialogue where Homelander's feelings are getting hurt about the public not entirely loving him.
Have you seen the memes? Have you seen the memes about me?
He orders a whoopsie-doopsie leak of their plans to execute Hughie, MM and Frenchie, so it lures out the more powerful members of their team for Homelander to eliminate. We then cut to the camps that definitely don't exist and are clearly AI generated. We see that the luxury hotel guests are being indoctrinated to love Homelander and all things Vault. You gotta admit the drip's going hard. If they sold this tracksuit on the official store, I'd be the first one buying it. MM right now isn't feeling himself, doing out of character things like taking part in fight clubs and not really caring for the news about the Flight 37 leak. But then his soul gets a small flame reignited, seeing that Love Sausage is a guard here, beating down some poor soul with his meat whip. We get a scene where Butcher returns home, as he found out that his mother died and wasn't invited to the funeral. With his dad now also on death's door with cancer, he pleads with Butcher to leave him be, as what's the point in seeking vengeance now? But Butcher's not interested in changing course now.
It ain't gonna change nothing. Who says I wanna change?
He then flies to the Philippines to get Kimiko back on the team, as Frenchie needs her. Now, Season 5 Kimiko created a very strong response from the fanbase when hearing that she can talk now. It should be a good thing, as it's been a weakness of hers not being able to communicate on the same level as the others. So we should be happy for her growth, right?
Speech therapy and therapy and so much TikTok.
Oh no. Oh god no, what have you done? You've turned Kimiko into another Gen V, apathetic teenager, which isn't even how teenagers talk. It's like a Gen X's idea of what a teenager sounds like.
Gotcha, Ernest o'clock. I'll myself right out.
That took a hot minute to regrow. Found my asshole like a mile away.
Like the better with a mouth shut.
As they're prepping to break their friends out of the camp, the captured friends are making their own escape plans after receiving word of their impending execution. Butcher's side of the plan is to recruit the help of a new soup named a Worm. Personally, I would have gone with Mole, due to his build and poor eyesight, but he does eat dirt, so maybe Worm's better. Anyway, Butcher's recruiting him to dig a tunnel, as he too has a reason to stick it to Vault for firing him.
It's not my fault there was a contraction in the TV business. I don't even work there anymore. Vought Studios replaced all their writers with AI.
In a televised interview, we meet Ashley's new boyfriend and fellow soup called O-Father, which is a very goofy sounding name for me to have to read out several times. But fortunately, he is quite a cool character. He's very charismatic, and he's going to become a big part of the show with Season 5's religious angle.
It was like the Lord smiled upon us.
When Hughie walks back to his bunk, he has a very surprising visit from Homelander, who knows exactly what he's up to. Hughie says, "Why not kill me right here and now?" But Homelander says, "Nah, I'm waiting for Butcher and Starlight to resurface, and I'm going to wait right here until they do." And well, he's not going to be waiting long, as Worm is about to eat his way into the camp, which is a very gross but funny scene, where he immediately excretes all the dirt he's eating. Typical toilet humour from the show, but sometimes it works for me. They find the prison buddies all tied up and gagged, but he needs to gag one more.
Suck my fat dick.
Thank you, Homelander. Starlight blinds the entire camp to give the boys some cover to escape, but before he leaves, sees one person he's got to deal with. For obvious reasons, I can't really show this fight, but it needed to be mentioned to let you know that this is where Love Sausage dies. Homelander catches Hughie to draw out Butcher, and he begins to laser Hughie's face. But then A-Train comes along and goes into the flash mode to grab Hughie out of the way.
Bullshit. Derivative.
Big mistake on his part, as now Homelander's going to relentlessly chase him down. We get a kind of on the nose bit of poetry here, but I do still like it, as we see A-Train throwing himself off track to avoid killing this girl, who bears a striking resemblance to Robin. So it's cool to see this redemption, where he doesn't want to repeat his past mistakes, even if it means putting himself in grave danger. He gives some smack talk to bruise Homelander's ego, and to not show him any fear in his final moments.
Take away these powers. And what are you, huh? Pathetic.
But this is the end of the line for A-Train.
Shock and awe.
It's A-Train's funeral, and they're pinning the blame on Starlighters with a well-delivered sermon by O-Father, where he gets so passionate that we see his powers shine through.
In the name of Jesus!
Notice that Homelander's mental state is still cracking. Yes, we're still waiting for his big crash out. Any moment now it's gonna happen. It's the last season, it has to. And in this sermon, he's starting to imagine that he has a higher calling, so his eventual crash out could be on a biblical scale. Realising that he's lost another person who he once relied on, he unfreezes Soldier Boy, who upon waking notes how weird it is that his own son got him naked to change him into some Homelander brand clothes. And he also wonders why his mouth is salty.
Did you me? What? Is this some kind of incest thing?
No!
He offers Daddy a trade. Track down Butcher and bring him to me, and I'll convince the world that you're not a communist. Butcher reveals that he's been working on a virus with Samir. The concern about this virus is still present, in that they don't know exactly how viral it is. Will it kill every soup, or just the ones in the immediate area? Butcher doesn't care one way or another, so long as it completes his mission. For a test subject, they have their eyes set on a soup called Rock Hard, who's basically a mountain that, despite his lack of mobility, is as strong as Homelander. With his cultivated mass, Rockhard has to be tested where he's staying, in the Teenage Kix house, a social media team of whoever's hot right now among the teenager demographic. Sheline, the human cat, Countess Crow, whose name speaks for itself, and Jetstreak, who we'll be meeting soon. Crow made the terrible mistake of staying home today.
Dare enter my dark domain? I am Countess Crow.
So she gets to be a test subject too. With Rockhard being able to hold his breath for as long as he wants, the team are trying their best to crack into his skin, while Butcher, Hughie and Kimiko are en route, carefully transporting the virus. Then Soldier Boy wrecks their car.
Hurry, the vial!
It's good.
But Butcher sees this meeting as a win-win, as they now have a top-tier soup, who they can test the virus on. Soldier Boy goes to nuke him, but then Butcher launches a car at him, buying them some time to regroup, as Soldier Boy regroups with Teenage Kix.
You're a dead socialist.
We get a couple of entertaining fights, as they try to get back with the virus, where we see that Jetstream is basically a human fighter jet, and he takes Hughie to a crazy height to drop him, before being saved by Starlight, who apparently no longer needs her hands for propulsion. I don't care enough to unpack that. Kimiko fights with Sheline, and it's nothing too special, but we do of course have this moment where she coughs out a hairball. She gets knocked out instead of killed, so we'll be seeing her again. They make it down to the basement with the virus, but Soldier Boy has Hughie, believing he just foiled their plans. But unbeknownst to him, Frenchie lifted the virus, and within a matter of seconds, we say goodbye to Rockhard, Jetstream, and more importantly, Soldier Boy. Homelander is mega mad, and doesn't have any time for the deep jokes.
It's more like Soldier Doy. Am I right?
Leave. This should have been you.
As he mourns over his father's loss, and walks away with his tail between his legs, we get this great twist. Holy hell, I loved this ending. The other reveal we're seeing that Ashley's new power is the ability to read minds, using a messed up looking conjoined Ashley face on the back of her head.
Do I get laser eyes? No, I get a psychic tumor. From back here I see a spine. Fucking use it.
The other purpose of Brain Ashley is that she wants to remind Base Ashley that she once believed in being good and making the world a better place, but she's allowed greed and corporate ambition to lead her astray.
You can still do some good, Ashley. We can still do some good. Just shut up!
Blood and bone.
Some military guys are searching his house in Russia, as this is where Ryan, has been hiding, and he intends on remaining hidden.
Please. I have family. I love Imagine Dragons.
I'm sorry. No one can know I was here.
Soldier Boy is welcomed into the Seven, a joyous occasion for all. But once again, Homelander's mind is slipping away.
My boy. My poor, sweet boy.
The boys' minds are in panic mode, as Samir realises that Soldier Boy is one of the rare soups with V1 in his bloodstream. As the name would suggest, V1 was the first iteration of Compound V that was only given to a handful of soups, and Samir made the virus they just used without factoring in the molecular structure of V1, as he believed all those soups to be dead now. This information also comes to light for the Seven, and both teams realise that in order to survive, they need to be the first ones to find the remaining V1. Soldier Boy is kind of pissed at Homelander, believing that he knew about the virus and sent him there to see if he would die. Now that Soldier Boy is returned alive and well, he relishes in the idea that he will live forever, and Homelander is in danger of having his powers stripped away.
Look at you. Just the softest, wettest boy.
The boys get to Stan Edgar's bunker, knowing that they would bump into him, as Starlight spoke with Marie Monroe off camera and set up this encounter. Stan is with Victoria Newman's daughter Zoe, so this is why the boys left Butcher behind, knowing that she's a little mad at him for splitting her mum like a chicken wing. Knowing what's at stake here, Stan agrees to help them find the V1, inviting them into the bunker so they can make their plans. We get this fun interaction where Hughie meets Maverick, Translucent's son. Stan giving Hughie this look, as if to say you owe me for lying to him about who killed his dad.
Homelander killed my dad.
Wow, Homelander. Ugh, God,
While Homelander is reeling over his father's insults, he begins to hallucinate Madeline Stillwell as some kind of angel, and she convinces him that he's meant for greater things, to be the next Jesus, who saves way more people than he ever did. The show's words, not mine.
And why should he have more love than you? You save more people than he does.
We then get this hilarious moment where Homelander's basking in the glory of her bosom. Legit every man's first reaction when seeing Bobs. It turns out that Zoe and Ryan kept in touch, and we were supposed to get some scenes where it established them as being friends, but for whatever reason that got scrapped. She wants Ryan to kill Butcher, but he says no, that's a reckless move.
Look what he did to your mom.
That's the point.
He's not worth it.
Ryan.
It's not worth you getting hurt.
It's useful to see that Ryan knows about what Butcher did, as it's going to play into the end of the show. Speaking of Butcher, he was hiding in the bush, and he urges them to put their differences aside and focus on their main goal of taking out Homelander, who right now is bathing in a tub full of breast milk. Not important to mention, just disgustingly amusing.
Breast milk from the NICU at Mount Sinai. Well, what, you asked me up here so I could watch you swim in tit jizz?
One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that Deep and Black Noir have become bros, hosting a Manosphere-style podcast. Full episode on the Vault channel. Go check it out, it's very funny.
Nothing makes me happier than seeing a powerful woman crash and burn.
Right now, they're en route to find Stan, joined by Dognot and Cindy. She doesn't have a soup name for some reason. They find the bunker but have trouble breaking down the door, so the boys have some time to strategize. Zoe finds her dad, Samir, and after learning what Butcher did to Victoria, they begin trashing the lab, no longer wanting anything to do with this plan. Kimiko urges them to get out now before they get hurt.
She tried to kill us both.
She should grow up like a kid, not like us. Go.
One of the funniest scenes is Soldier Boy and Firecracker flirting using gun talk.
Well, mine's a much longer barrel. Battle-proven, all-American Colt 1911. That'll blow your panties off.
And this of course leads to them boinking, and they bond over their shared experience in dealing with Homelander's insanity. Dognot catches Maverick trying to pull a sneak attack, and when the Deep reveals that it was Hughie who killed his dad, he willingly gives them the bunker code. Stan believes that he's about to get away, but Noir snags him. The Deep, desperately needing Homelander's approval, knocks out Noir so that he can take the credit.
Sorry, bro. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Cindy attempts to kill Hughie, but didn't see that Maverick's here too, who she accidentally explodes instead. And then Starlight breaks Cindy's neck. The final fight is between Homelander and Ryan, where Ryan finally confronts him about what he did to Mummy.
Ever? Did you do it? Did you rape my mom?
What? Of course not.
Your heart's racing.
Well, yeah, because I'm shocked.
Leading to some punches, some lasers, and Homelander beating his own son into submission. A surreal but ultimately weightless fight, as Ryan survives it. The episode ends with Homelander being delighted that Stan is now under his control, and he embraces him like Stan's his child. It's super weird, but appropriate for this stage of his derangement.
We have much to discuss. In the end.
Homelander can smell his father's musk all over Firecracker's body, but he's going to let the fact they're boinking slide. Or is he? Well, for now he is, as he needs her for a big task, spreading the good word to the people that he's their new messiah, reasoning that a person can only suffer this much if it's meant to be interpreted as a divine test for them to be worthy as a messiah.
You knew all along I was special. And that is why I have chosen you, to spread the word.
Butcher is helping Ryan to recover, but right now he's feeling used and bruised, and not too thrilled to be expected to jump back in at the risk of his life. So he buggers off back into hiding. Starlight finds her long lost dad, and the new family he started. I'm not going to bore you too much with what goes on here, so we'll skip to the good parts, where it turns out that Daddy left because he couldn't get behind the idea that she was chosen by God to be a soup, something that her mummy insisted to be true. A very flimsy excuse for leaving, but it's whatever. And then, when a local trooper finds out that they've been sheltering a wanted woman, her dad finally steps up to defend her.
Annie's my daughter, and I love her. I should have stood up for her a long time ago.
It's a nice family moment, but let's get back to the main story. The race is on between the boys and the Superboys to get to a facility called Fort Harmony, which reportedly has the last sample of V1. The boys get there first, and within an hour of being inside, Frenchie notices there's something very wrong here, as the boys all start throwing insults at each other, and near on begin scrapping.
He dragged you down in the shit with him, and the worst part, you let him do it, you pussy.
Everyone, s'il vous plaît. Want me to put you in the dirt? Yeah, do it, man. Do it.
When they find a bunch of hunters who clearly murdered each other, Frenchie realises there was a chemical spill where the fungal spores got mutated by V1, and anyone who inhales these spores goes bananas. I love that Hughie immediately calls it out as being kind of like The Last of Us. Yeah, remember that show? I legit forgot I even covered it. Now, one thing that annoys me about the following sequence is that Homelander has entered the building at the same time when the boys are loudly arguing, breaking shit, and throwing each other around the room. And somehow Homelander doesn't hear it. And yeah, I know he's kind of distracted with his heated discussion with Soldier Boy, but this is an otherwise empty building with echoey hallways, and even a regular person would hear this ruckus. As Soldier Boy is familiar with this building, he tricks Homelander into walking into this cell that has uranium rods radiating the room and weakening any soup locked inside. Homelander will eventually escape, but seeing him temporarily crippled in pain gives Soldier Boy a lot of pleasure.
Why? You don't get it, do you? How much I can't stand you.
Butcher finds him locked in here and gets busy mocking him for being so weak, but Homelander counters with the fact that Butcher doesn't have anything that can kill him, otherwise he'd be doing it right now. So realistically, when he gets out, what chance do the boys have in winning? Unless of course they find the V1. When Soldier Boy bumps into Frenchie, he chases him into a room when he's stunned to find his old friend, who somehow has turned into the host for all this V'd up fungus. Frenchie then realises that Soldier Boy resents him, as he was always celebrated for being an actual soldier rather than just being a poster boy. And Poster Boy gets so angry that he blasts his friend to death with radiation, which also kills all the fungus linked to him.
Hughie? I'm sorry.
Me too.
The episode ends with O-Father making the televised announcement of their new Lord and Saviour.
Only one of us left standing.
Homelander's Democratic Church of America is proving to be a big hit with the old whiteheads, and the Seven are in high spirits about the whole campaign. They've even written a new chapter for the Bible and rebranded it as Homelander's Bible, and I would have loved to read what's inside, but we never get to see what it says, and it doesn't really come up again in any meaningful way.
Heavy.
Thank you, Soldier Boy. That's exactly how I feel right now. What the f are we doing here? But anyway, let's talk about the gimmick of this episode. It's in the style of an anthology, showing the multiple perspectives of the current stories, from Firecracker, Black Noir, and Soldier Boy. Oh, and also Terror. Due to this episode not focusing much on driving the plot forward, and more on fleshing out the characters, some people consider it to be filler, and I do agree with that, but it is still a decent episode. It just feels like it's not the best thing to do right now, as we're supposed to be building to a big climax. Season 5 to me feels like it should be more of a spectacle, but at times it feels like it's just dicking around. I'll show my live, unscripted feelings on this when we get to the end of the episode. Anyway, let's carry on. Firecracker's having a secret meeting with her old reverend, who disapproves of Homelander's new church, and him proclaiming himself as the new lord. The rest of her story shows her struggle between her belief in Jesus and her commitment to Homelander's cause, knowing that if she doesn't show her full faith to him, he'll most likely kill her. And she really struggles not to break down when she's forced to run with the story that her old reverend is probably a diddler.
They deserve the Democratic Church of America.
Next we have Black Noir. This is my favourite chapter in the whole anthology, because he vents his frustrations about working with the Deep and having to go along with the whole BS campaign, where he feels that his talents are completely wasted. Whereas working here as an actor in the play gives him real fulfillment, where both he and this guy Adam, who we previously saw directing the A-Train movie, have a real bro connection, unlike the phony bro connection with Deep, because Adam actually cares about what Justin wants.
We're gonna save the world
with our talent.
Oh my God, you have no idea how much this means to me.
When he plucks up the courage to stand up to the Deep, Deep retaliates dramatically by sending a nail up through Adam's toilet and right into his butt. Oh boy, gonna need a lot of pixels here. When he again confronts Deep, Deep reminds him of their current power levels. Being closer to Homelander means that he can dob him in for doing outside work, in a sector that would be considered beta work.
Which is a definite conflict of interest, since Homelander outlawed the National Endowment for the Arts.
Next up we have Terra, who's dreaming of Homelander taking position for him, so that dogs like Terra can do what it is they love to do.
You want some turkey? Well, first you gotta fuff me.
The rest of what goes on with him really isn't that important, although there is some dialogue where the boys mention their current plan, which is to find a soup called Bombsight, as he likely has the last sample of V1.
Any leads on Bombsight?
Not a damn thing.
Well, he's an unbreakable that flies through the air. How hard can it be?
And now we have Sage, where her chapter is very dialogue heavy, which is mostly quite good, in that we see Sage and Ashley conspiring against Homelander, using Sage's smarts for manipulation and brain Ashley's mind reading powers, so they can work together in preventing Homelander from ever finding the V1.
What do you think happens to you if I die? I'm not about to risk my neck because I let an overgrown boil do my thinking for me.
And lastly, we have Soldier Boy, who threatens Stan by saying, "I know where Samir and Zoe ran off to, so you better give up your intel about V1. Stan doesn't know where it is, but he does know someone who might. And for this, Soldier Boy needs to go to LA.
California is nice to the homeless. California.
Which is where we get the wonderful reunion of Sam and Cass from Supernatural.
Soldier Boy. Wow, big fan, sir. I actually popped my cherry in your underoos.
Nice.
There's a few other celebrities in the house, for no real reason other than to cameo, and be featured in some great death scenes.
Soldier Boy!
We got Seth Rogen, who I'm not a big fan of, McLovin, who everyone's a fan of.
I am McLovin.
No, you're not. No one's McLovin.
And most excitingly for me, Will Forte. If you haven't seen The Last Man on Earth, I highly recommend it. Jared Padalecki, who's now playing Mr. Marathon, is a collector of vault memorabilia, and there's a moment when looking through his collection that Soldier Boy stops to look longingly at this picture of Stormfront. This will come up again later. Marathon says hold tight, he gave Bombsight a call and he's on his way over now. But Homelander grows tired of waiting, and he's starting to sense that everyone here is plotting against him. Then when he tries to leave, Mal Chemical takes him down. Now, Soldier Boy may hate his own son, but he is his flesh and blood, so he took this attack personally.
Nobody fucks my son but me.
What?
That came out wrong.
And he lays waste to the entire house, with so much blood and gore that, well, you know the drill by now, I can't show you it. Perhaps the most shocking death comes when Homelander says that he's okay with the whole boinking my dad stuff, but the pillow talk afterwards, where it turns out you still believe in the OG Jesus, that's not gonna fly. She tries to sweet talk him, and at first he seems to buy it, but then... Honestly, a reasonable time for her to exit the show, and I'm glad that she played a big part in it. Valerie Curry, you did an amazing job. Oh, no! No! What? What? Again, I have to ask the question, right? Now it's the end of the video. I'm gonna come full circle with my point. Take everything that's just happened in that episode and ask yourself, what is the progression overall? They still don't have the V1. They know who has it, but they still don't have it. They've been chasing this bloody virus, or this genetic code, DNA, whatever you want to call it. They've been chasing it for like 3 episodes now, and still we have no real progression on it other than knowing who has it. This really, what we've just seen, is filler. It's fantastic filler. It's great filler. But it is filler.
Too fucking right.
We get the surprising return of the legend, who's taken on a new identity of Chet, and now works in a cinema, selling hilarious popcorn buckets of the Deep's gaping mouth.
And to get a complimentary deep popcorn bucket with every large combo meal.
He's a key contact because just like Soulja Boy, he's been around for a very long time, so he knows all the OG soups. And he also knows that the best way to draw out Bombsight is to get his girlfriend Golden Geisha. This is more of a long-winded plan than what Butcher has in mind, which is to use the new batch of virus against Homelander before he gets to the V1, using a timed air freshener to spray the virus while he's giving his next speech. Can you imagine how anticlimactic that shit would be? Of course this plan isn't gonna happen. They get kicked out of the old folks home for causing a scene, and then when Chet sees that Butcher's willing to get violent with the residents, unless he gets his own way, he says I'm out, and heads back to base. So without Chet, they sneak back in at night, where Geisha tries to block them from taking her, but MM uses her IV to knock her out. As they head for the exit, some other elderly soups step in to make them fight for their right to leave. And oh, what a surprise. They include a joke about old people balls. Even though it's visually funny, it's just another example of the writer's juvenile humour. The punchline is always rude body part, or something being inserted in someone's butt.
Way you punish my sin pit, ain't no ball gag in the world strong enough.
It's funny at first, but my god it gets repetitive. Geisha insists that she has no clue how to get in touch with Bombsight, but luckily for the boys, Sage rocks up and says I do have a clue.
Unclench those assholes, fellas. I'm here to help.
This episode establishes an oil pipeline that the Deep is forced to endorse, despite it being against the wishes of the many fishes. And Black Noir bursts the pipeline to get revenge for what he did to Adam.
We know, Kevin. We know it was you.
And then what follows is the Deep killing Black Noir in such an underwhelming, nonsensical, and downright insulting way. He just gets strangled with a cable and stabbed with his own knife. Where's the fighting back? New Noir could fly. Why did he make no attempt to push off and fly away? Very lame death scene, and a tragic waste of a really good character. With regular Ashley being freaked out about being involved in the Homelander takedown scheme, Sage knocks her out so that Brain Ashley can take over for a while. And after reading Soulja Boy's mind, they learn about his intentions to find Bombsight and how he's now decided that he's proud of Homelander and actually wants to help him find the V1, for a reason that we're going to find out about soon.
He's thinking about helping Homelander. Like, he's kind of proud of him, but he doesn't want him to know that he's proud of him?
Bombsight eventually rocks up, and we find out that he still has the V1 because he wanted his girlfriend Golden Geisha to also live forever. But she keeps on rejecting it, rightly saying that living forever is a curse. So Bombsight's reaction is, if she won't take it, no one will. And then in rocks Soulja Boy, and they initiate another fight sequence that results in them pausing to negotiate, with Soulja Boy offering to take away his immortality in exchange for the V1. Before we wrap up, there's another fight scene where Hughie and Starlight get caught installing the air wick, and O-Father blasts her across the room. But then Hughie says, "Oi, knock it off, otherwise I'm gonna unleash the virus."
You didn't go to all this trouble just to waste that on me.
Nope. But I will. Unless you let her go.
To end the day, we get the very alarming scene where Homelander comes along and Soulja Boy says that Homelander is everything that Stormfront dreamed of when imagining the perfect soup. So what better way to honour her memory than to give Homelander the V1?
Why do you hate me? I loved her more. And this is what she would want.
And seeing him inject the V1 and blasting his lasers at max strength is just such a great moment. The look of terror on their faces, knowing just how effed they are now, it's giving me goosebumps.
Run.
Is the boy starting to cook again? You know that Jonah Hill meme where he's like this? That's how I felt at the end of this penultimate episode. So in answer to my previous question, is the boy starting to cook again? The answer is no. In fact, this episode decides that one of the top chefs is going to be taken out the kitchen.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Right here, chef.
Seeing Soldier Boy being put back on ice was a huge indicator of what's to come. And yet, like an idiot, I still retained hope. To start out on a positive note, this opening song was amazing, and really goes to show you what the showrunners are capable of when they actually use talented people.
No angel singing on high, no invisible man in the sky, 'cause he's right in front of your eyes.
It's such a catchy song, and pretty damn funny too.
Helping the poor, mercy for strangers, all and pervs who put us in danger.
Kudos to the composers, and of course Daveed Diggs. He really gave it his all here. Homelander's chilling in the Oval Office, waiting for the president to arrive, so that he can start making his demands for new laws and such. But when he faces a tiny bit of pushback, and Ashley reveals that the president is not a true believer, Homelander kills him. Now, killing the president should really be a big deal, but we see zero response to this. It's very much just brushed under the carpet. Then, finally, in this penultimate episode, we're meeting the one soup who, logically speaking, is the only one who can take down Homelander, Marie Monroe, who has demonstrated her ability to remove V from bloodstreams. But for some unfathomable reason, they've only brought her in for Starlight to say,
"What good's all that power, Marie, if you can't control it? What good's all that power, Marie, if you can't control it? What good's all that power, Marie, if you can't control it?
What good's all that power, Marie, if you can't control it?"
Did no one writing this watch Gen V? She can control her powers. It was the biggest event of that spin-off. You showed us that happening, only for you to now decide that she's worthless to their mission. Why even bother bringing her in if she's going to serve no purpose? Or to the bigger point, why even bother making Gen V? It's such a middle finger to the fans like me, who keep giving these showrunners the benefit of the doubt, only for our time to be disregarded, all because they're too lazy to make their own storylines connect.
What's our next move?
Pack it up, you guys are done.
Well, I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
Going to the plan they have instead, they've built a replica of the room that gave Soldier Boy his powers, hoping to give Kimiko these same powers, knowing they can repeatedly test on her with her current ability to heal.
It's Michael. We have to do something.
Their other plan is to capture O-Father and make him squeal on Homelander's location. But as they go in, Hughie and Butcher get found by a psychic soup named Synapse. O-Father's screening a new Homelander movie and using the psychics to evaluate the audience's true feelings. If they don't believe that Homelander is the new Messiah, they get tagged to watch the movie again until they do believe. But then Homelander gives the instruction that all non-believers are now to be locked in and taken out, with the assistance of Dognot and Sheline. But then, much to my despair, they get taken out by MM and Starlight. Rip King, rip Queen. You two were too weird for this world, but you were pretty amusing. While this was going on, Butcher and Hughie were being tormented by Synapse, who temporarily tampers with their minds to make them believe that they're talking with Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I served with Billy. Actually, you know what? More than that, Billy and I, we were besties.
It was nice to see him again while it lasted, until Butcher takes him out. Homelander makes the announcement that he's disbanding the Seven, considering there's only 3 of them left. And Deep is heartbroken, knowing that without this, he has nothing. And he goes off to sulk at a seaside dock, talking to his old shark friend Xander, voiced by Samuel Jackson.
We wouldn't want a little guppy to get caught in that can, my man. Come on in.
Who quickly turns on him, saying he better not ever come back to the ocean. They know it's his fault that the pipeline burst. Even though it wasn't him who punched a hole, he still endorsed the crappy build and ignored the needs of his fish pals.
Water is off limits to you. You are dead to us.
We see the first consequence of this banishment when he's called upon to save a drowning man, and he cowers away, knowing what will happen if he does. You do have to question why none of the humans are jumping in to save him. Surely one of you guys can swim.
Can someone just toss him a life preserver?
Soldier Boy says that he only helped Homelander because of his love for Stormfront. He doesn't intend on sticking around and revering him like he's some kind of god.
If that makes you a god, then I'm a god every night. I am God!
So Homelander chokes him out and puts him back in the cryo chamber. Again, no fight from Soldier Boy. He's choked out in a matter of seconds.
This is a really good idea.
Homelander then finds the boy's base, where fortunately Frenchie managed to hide Kimiko and Sage before he arrived. Then Frenchie lures him into the testing chamber to prove that they do have the power to take him down. And he takes a second to pity him at how sad Homelander's life must be.
Look at you. I bet you never danced a day in your life.
When he buggers off, he leaves Frenchie dying in Kimiko's arms.
Thank you for saving us. Thank you for saving me.
It was the right time for him to go. He served his purpose in the story. He was never my favourite character, but I do appreciate what he brought to the table. And so now, with that sadness done and dusted, we move on to the very last episode of The Boys. Oh man, here we go. By the way, for these title cards, I wanted to actually give you what the promotional material promised to give you, because, spoiler alert, we never see this scene. Homelander never looks down on us from space, watching the world burn. The so-called scorched earth crash out that they've been alluding to since season 3. So yeah, I did my best to animate some kind of scorched earth devastating explosion for the title cards. Because to hell with you, marketing team, for lying to us. For this finale, I got some reactions sent in from 2 friends / content creators who have both made content about The Boys. With Pajama Luke being a fairly new creator on the scene, but his presentation quality is already high tier.
This is going to be a really quick review. I'm not going to go into like crazy detail, and I'm probably not even going to give a score to this episode.
And that voice, man. He could sell me a Ford F-150.
I've been keeping up with The Boys for a good while now, ever since I think season 3 came out.
And then we have Maddox, who's absolutely killing it on TikTok. And we got talking when I found his TikToks, doing amazing impressions of Dexter Morgan.
Yo, dude, we could use this for a costume.
I don't think we'll need any.
Oh, you already have some?
Yeah, a lot.
And then I found out he's actually a fan of mine. So yeah, he's doing great things there, and he has a respectable following. I also got my brother Grant with me, as this show has really meant a lot to us over the years, through the good times and the bad. I'm really glad they agreed to be a part of this, and I'm glad that you're a part of it too. If you've enjoyed this journey, I would super appreciate a like. And with that said, let's get on with this final chapter. At Frenchie's funeral, they notice that Kimiko's grief is causing the ground to shake, and this gives Sage the idea to test if Kimiko now has Soldier Boy's powers, by pressing her buttons over her loss, to the point where she goes... Yep, she's a Soldier Boy now, and the proof is right here with Sage, who's now just a regular-brained person.
My brain was so loud, and now it's...
They still have the blueprints and access codes to get around the White House, as a while back they did some protection work for Robert Singer. Yeah, he's still on the scene. Where were you when the president got killed? So while Homelander's giving his big speech, they plan on using the secret White House tunnels to get the jump on him. Sage might be stupid now, but even still, she's smart enough to know that it's time to opt out, making the most of her new life by going to Harry Potter World.
One's up, bitches. Sage out.
If that's the last time we see her, I'm actually kind of like okay with that. She served her purpose. Yeah, fair play to her.
I hope she enjoys Harry Potter Land.
Yeah. I regretfully have to mention this scene here, where Ashley gifts Zophar a new ball toy, if you catch my drift. And she promises that this toy will be strong enough to withstand his booming voice when he reaches the ultimate pleasure point. I mentioned this special toy because it's going to come up again soon. And here was me hoping we would have a fully serious episode with no cringy jokes about bedroom antics.
I lucked out when I arranged marrying you.
What? I hate this couple, bro. Like, what is this?
I hate Ashley, bro. She's so weird.
Ashley slander aside, I will agree that I'm not going to miss this couple being on screen.
Way you punish my sin pit.
Homelander begins his address to the nation, sticking to the script at first, but as soon as the word father appears, his daddy issues derail him and goes into full wrathful god mode, stating either you fall to your knees and praise me, or die.
My reign will last forever, and when this world is cold and dead,
I don't think this is helping your case, bro.
and when this world...
Meanwhile, the boys are making their way through the secret tunnel when they get ambushed by security, with Ashley coming to the rescue before fleeing the scene to avoid the big fight. The first mini-boss is O-Father, who is about to blast them dead, but MM found his titanium ball toy. Oh shit. And so let's begin the big fight.
Evening, cherished friend.
Daddy's home.
Butcher reveals their secret weapon, Kimiko, and before we get to see her new power in action, we get an exchange of fists, lasers, and tentacles. And while this is a far stretch from the promised scorched earth, it is an enjoyable scene, I can't lie. Seeing Ryan join the fight, knowing that this is for the greater good, is exactly what I was hoping would happen. Kimiko's having a bit of performance anxiety, so Frenchie comes in like a little blue pill and gives her the rigid confidence she needs to unleash her white fireworks. As expected, this removed everyone's powers. So Butcher gets to work, finally enacting his revenge on Homelander, not only for Frenchie.
This is for Frenchie.
But more importantly for Becca.
And this is for my Becca.
Oh my god.
Oh
my.
Popped his head right off.
Another important death in this finale is when Starlight finally gets her revenge on the Deep, pushing him into the ocean where he gets what he deserves. Kind of poetic that he had something forced into him. When the dust settles, Ryan tells Butcher that there's no way that they're going to live together like a happy family. He will always remember the things that Butcher did, and despite killing Homelander, he is still an awful person. And then, after Butcher loses his dog Terra, due to old age or something, he decides that his mission isn't done yet, and heads back to Vault Tower with the virus, installing it in the sprinkler system to infect every soup that enters. But then Hughie comes along and does all he can to stop that from happening, willing to hold up a gun and shoot this man dead if he must.
You ain't got the...
Butcher remains determined, but in a moment of clarity, he sees brother Lenny in Hughie. This vision coming too late, as Hughie's already pulled the trigger.
It's alright, Hughie. I gave you no choice.
Butcher's death is shocking. Not visually shocking or surprising shocking, but more spiritually shocking. I don't think anyone wanted to see him go, as much as he needed to.
Oh, by the way, you're all fucking welcome.
After laying Butcher to rest with the most perfect headstone, the boys are disbanded and go on to live the rest of their lives. The show ending with the surprise reveal that Starlight is pregnant, while still being a vigilante. Seems kind of reckless to me, but okay. They also now own a tech store, and not to ruin this nice ending here, but I couldn't help wondering if we could set up a The Boys 2 by having the story come full circle. A-Train comes along, straight through her.
I can't stop. 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 I can't stop.
Seems to me that this is one of those shows that will always be divisive with opinions. And trust me, there was a ton more that I could have said about this finale. For as much as I had fun with it, I did have a ton of complaints. I kinda scratched the surface by mentioning the deceptive marketing and the inconsistent story, but really, is there any need for me to go all out here? I don't believe I do. These videos were always meant to be light-hearted recaps, but the further I got into the boys, the more passionate I became. And I want you to see that at the end of the day, my frustration and my anger is out of love for the show. I have 100% appreciation for every person behind making the boys, especially the phenomenal cast. And taking a look at these behind the scenes photos fills me with a great feeling of warmth that reminds me that even when a show doesn't turn out the best, the friendships and memories it created is a joint experience between the audience and the talent, who truly deserve our applause for working their asses off for many years. So as I close this video with a final message, know that these words are to be thought of when wondering why you received such a mixed reaction to your show. Dear showrunners, at times you showed us how creative and clever you are, but along the way, you started focusing more on jokes about people's buttholes than you did about people's journeys. And for the next time you make something, looking at you, Vault Rising, I want you to take a pause before getting butthurt at people who aren't enjoying your creation in the way you wish. Most people are happy to go along for the ride, to take a break from reality and be immersed in your world when you allow that separation. There are genuine qualities that people appreciate, but at the same time, you should listen to the fans who care enough to offer you their genuine critique. If no one cared, no one would join you on your journey. So appreciate your fans, and respect them enough to give them scorched earth when you promised scorched earth. Man, what do you think? Are you happy?
Yeah, I mean, the Soldier Boy stuff, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, like, I feel a bit of a melon right now for wearing a Soldier Boy t-shirt, buying a Soldier Boy t-shirt and then wearing it for the occasion.
I made the right choice.
He's not even freaking in it. Yeah, I'm a bit pissed about that. T-shirt aside, he should have been in the finale. That is such a cop out just to throw him in the freezer again.
Yeah. I really did enjoy the final fight scene against Homelander.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I'm really glad they put Ryan back in it.
Yeah. Yeah, this could well be the last time we speak about the boys. We'll have chats, of course, but it feels like a monumental moment, really, because it's like...
I mean, I will watch Vault Rising, but I won't want to.
Yeah, I feel like I'm contractually obliged to at this point, just to make the recaps. But yeah, I feel weird about this, because it's like, yeah, to not have any more the boys to look forward to anymore. It's kind of like, oh my god, what now? You know, there hasn't, for all of its flaws, there hasn't been a series this interesting to talk about in years. It feels like, you know, since our love of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, we've not really like bonded over a show this much, have we? It's like we got our films like the 28 franchise.
Love the 28 franchise.
You know,
well, maybe not weeks, but I love the franchise.
Yeah. So it kind of feels, yeah, it feels like a funeral of a show for me in a way. It's like, oh, what now, man?
Something will come up.
Yeah, but yeah, well, appreciate you being here for the reaction, man. It's yeah. Of course. No, but seriously, really appreciate anyone watching right now, and yeah, I'm gonna start working on a recap as soon as I've had a sleep and a cry over the boys ending. So yeah, ta-da. Thanks for being here.